Last Epoch Patch 0.9 is a fun and dynamic patch. It includes lots of updates for the video game, including multiplayer, unique items, and powerful skills. Here is a list of the top 5 strongest builds for Last Epoch in patch 0.9. Acolyte, Lick, Harvest. The Acolyte's Lick mastery is capable of dealing massive amounts of poison damage through the use of Harvest. The skill is capable of spreading poison to multiple targets and can deal damage over time. The build can also utilize minions for additional damage and defense. Mandatory unique item for this build is Plague Bearer. Mage, Sorcerer, Flame Reave. The Sorcerer mastery in the Mage class can deal significant fire damage with Flame Reave. This build focuses on critical strikes and can deal massive damage with critical hits. The build has decent mobility and can be very effective in both single target and AoE situations. Mandatory unique item for this build is Dragon's Reign. Dragon's Reign is a legendary two-handed sword that provides significant fire damage and fire penetration. It has a chance to ignite enemies and apply a debuff that reduces their fire resistance. In addition, it provides bonuses to attack speed and critical strike chance. This item is ideal for a fire-based melee build, such as a paladin using the Judgment skill or a warlock using the Lick Queen skill, who benefit greatly from the added fire damage and penetration. It is also useful for any build that utilizes fire damage or wants to take advantage of enemy fire resistance reduction. Sentinel, Void Knight, Erasing Strike. The Void Knight mastery in the Sentinel class is capable of dealing massive amounts of physical damage with Erasing Strike. This build focuses on critical strikes and can deal massive damage with critical hits. The build has decent survivability and can be very effective in both single target and AoE situations. Mandatory unique item for this build is Last Oblation. Last Oblation is a unique relic in Last Epoch that provides significant offensive and defensive benefits at the cost of sacrificing a portion of the player's health. For example, the Last Oblation relic provides a large increase in critical strike chance, critical strike multiplier, and increased damage while also providing a significant amount of increased health regeneration. However, the player needs to sacrifice a portion of their health every few seconds to maintain these benefits. In terms of which builds can use this relic, it can be beneficial for builds that rely heavily on critical strikes, such as a Rogue's Shadow Cascade or a Spellblade's Elemental Nova. The increased health regeneration provided by the relic also make it useful for builds that have a lot of health regeneration, such as a Shaman's Spriggan form or a Forge Guard's Warpath. Primalist, Beastmaster, Summon Bear. The Beastmaster mastery in the Primalist class can deal significant amounts of bleed damage with Summon Bear. The build utilizes a combination of minions and damage over time effects to deal damage. The build has decent survivability and can be effective in both single target and AoE situations. Mandatory unique item for this build is the Perfect Form. Perfect Form is a unique body armor in Last Epoch that provides significant defensive bonuses such as dodge rating, increased protections, and ailment avoidance. It also grants additional mana and critical strike chance, and allows the user to cast a powerful defensive spell called Glacial Nova when hit by a critical strike. Rogue, Bladed Dancer, Dancing Strikes. The Bladed Dancer mastery in the Rogue class can deal massive amounts of physical damage with Dancing Strikes. This build focuses on critical strikes and can deal massive damage with critical hits. The build has decent mobility and can be very effective in both single target and AoE situations. Mandatory unique item for this build is Wings of Argentius. These builds are considered the strongest in Last Epoch in patch 0.9, each with their own unique playstyle and strengths.